Okay.
Hey, you and Pat say, I mean, well, before we get into the conversation, like, when you agreed to battle Pat Stay the first time, like, what made you agree to battle your best friend? And was all limits off the way he took it? Was there certain things about it? Like, can you give us a background on that battle?
Definitely. Here, I just laid my phone and the speaker down. You still hear me good like this?
Yeah, you good.
All right, work. So yeah, like, this the thing, man. There's a huge dividing line between real life and battle rap. And the blog I just made, like, discussing the whole, Sharon Pat Stay title match thing, is like, I go on about that because there is such a big difference. And even Pat sometimes himself, I think, gets confused in the middle ground. But, like, every decision I've ever made over the years, I felt like was a decision I was making for the better of King of the Dot as a whole. Like, not even when I just battled Pat, but, like, when I put up my title against the Source and shit, and, like, all these different things where even if it was going to negatively affect me if I was going to lose or whatever, like, in the big picture, it would do amazing things for the scene, and it's still just, like, monumental shit, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, when I battled the Source, I don't know, had freestyle flips some shit about when the Source was saying Pat wrote my shit or something. I said I wrote all of Patrick Stay's shit or something. It was like a whack flip anyways. But then, so me and Pat discussed it, you know what, fuck it, we should battle. And, it's crazy too, like, neither of us got paid a penny to do that battle, for the record, and we just, like, did it. And, so we obviously agreed originally there'd be Los Angeles. He had a few things that he didn't want me to say, one of which Rome brought up in the third round against that. And then, obviously he wasn't going to go into certain things of my background and whatever, because I still had Canada White Wars at the time. I was still looking for a lot of time and just glooming clouds. You wouldn't want rumors about, like, a lot of racial shit and whatever. That's just, like, a really bad look before you're about to go away for a while, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so, even 5 minutes before the battle, he swore to me there were certain things he would never say, and he was offended that I even asked him, like, 5 minutes before the battle if he was going to say it, and then sure enough, bang, all 3 rounds, exactly what he said he wouldn't do. And then, I didn't, like, give a fuck at the time, really, in the moment, you're just kind of, like, in the moment. You're not really, like, listening to every line and, like, oh, I can't believe you said that. You're just, like, going with it. And there was the only thing that pissed me off after the battle was the one angle he used in the second round saying that, this Mitchell guy who, like, I have a trafficking charge for it now, so I can talk on it freely. Like, he was one of my main runners, and he dimed on me when he got grabbed in a parking lot outside the gym. He was working my phone, and they rushed in the gym, grabbed me, bring me out, fucking cries, won't take the charge, whatever. I'd already been out on bail 3 different separate times, so, like, my fucking shirt, my mother had to put up, like, her house and shit, like, at this point, and, like, I had, like, that was just, every penny I was making was going to lawyer fees now, and then this guy, after I went on the run for some other violent shit, Pat became best friends with this guy. And, like, that always hurt me on, like, a real personal level, like, not a battle rap level. So when he said in the battle rap shit about, oh, like, you should have taken the rap for Mitchell and all this shit, like, that did bother me, and that was one thing, actually, that really pissed me off after, because, like, Pat's never really been in that life, and that's the only life I've ever known. And there's certain things in battle rap, like, well, all right, you want to call me a woman beater, racist, whatever. Those are pretty standard battle rap angles. But, like, for a best friend to stand in the room with his best friend and, we agree certain things we never say, like, for example, like, rat shit or whatever, like, damaging shit to your real life, and then he played that card. And, like, it's not that I, like, held a grudge against him forever, but in the battle rap context of it, I always felt like I still had something more to say.
No, but I understand, like, more or less, like, me and Psycho are almost best friends. Like, like, if we ever battled each other, yeah. Like, I feel like we should have an agreement with each other, right, Psycho? Would you agree?
Yeah.
And it'll be like, oh, wow, yeah. So, no, I agree that he might have broken that code, whatever. But, so
that's the thing.
You want to...
It was my bad. It was my bad. I should have never agreed to anything, because you should just assume that the other person... But I guess I was just being that loyal or something, where I just believed he would stick to his word. Obviously, I shouldn't have either. Every other battle in history before that and after that people made agreements pretty much either neither keep to their word or one of them doesn't. So, like, you know what I mean? In all war.
So then, let's get into the Sharon versus Pat Stay battle. So, like, you're supposed to be up there, right, on stage. I know you did this interview with Rap Grid, but, like, let's get the whole story. So you're supposed to, from what I understand, you're supposed to be on stage on Pat Stay's side.
Yeah.
And Sharon says, Pat Stay beat on his sister. If I'm lying, Hollohan won't switch sides, and you were supposed to switch sides, and Hollohan and Sharon had to switch that up. But you were told that you weren't allowed on stage. I know on Rap Grid you said fuck Organik. Do you can you take us through that whole scenario, and do you still hold that statement?
All right, I'll bring you through it. So, like the shit I was talking about a minute ago, like in a real life sense, is battle rap in real life, entertainment one side, real life on another. A lot of people that watch battles don't really know the difference between the two. They pretty much believe every single thing that's said in it, and that's just the way it is. So, I was never going to make blogs after mine and Pat's battle. Oh, Pat lied, blah, blah, blah. But I felt like one day down the road, and he himself, for years, every person that's ever battled him brings up the exact same angle every time about how he fucked me over and lied to me and betrayed his friend. Zatsy literally went on about it for 3 rounds. How could you do that to Jeff? So it's no secret to the world. But then a few weeks before the battle, and I talked with him in the blog, me and Pat had a conversation on the phone, and he just said some really fucking delusional, silly shit that you should never really say to your boy. And he just was getting too caught up in his battle rap ego and was saying some shit if Sharon says anything about me and you, there's going to be repercussions and, people are going to get hurt and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Pat, think what you're saying, bud. Number one, I have no control over what Sharon says. But even, when he battled the Source Arsenal, he truly believed that I was going to, tell them their rhymes or, make a plan with them, all this shit. And he knows me and Sharon have been friends, so he's had a paranoia forever. I know that's the biggest reason of why he didn't want to battle Sharon to begin with. And because he knew that the things would come up that I said I wouldn't say when we battled, because I'd be like, all right, Sharon, here, you can say them, and I'll fucking come to your side. And then, if we didn't even have this plan at first, but when Pat was making these ridiculous threats to me a couple weeks ago, I was like, all right, you know what? If Pat wants to say that shit, Sharon, he already kind of ran some ideas past me. I said, all right, let's do it. And I thought from a marketing standpoint, too, it's what we were going to do, Sharon's going to go through these 3 stories. Most of them are known facts anyways that other battlers have said, but finally it would bring, legitimacy to it, knowing that, wow, that shit was true. Hollohan is a WWF moment, is fucking leaving his tag team partner to, switch over sides in the fucking main event. And then we were going to rehash the scheme, and Sharon was going to say at the end some shit you're the exact opposite of a real dude when you treat a rat like royalty, and just delusional when you steal his cancer patient story. See, this is Hollohan's chance to set the record straight, and that's why your boy's with me. So remember, Pat, and I was going to jump in, you fucked up the loyalty, right?
That's dope.
Well,
that's dope.
That would be massive, right? That would be massive. And so, right before the battle fucking happens, Pat had heard, and this is crazy how this happened, I still am trying to figure this out, Pat had heard of what was going to happen, and he didn't hear what was going to happen fully. All he had heard, he said, was that me and Sharon were going to redo the loyalty thing. He didn't even know we were doing the side switch thing. He just said we're going to redo the loyalty line, and that something about Pat hanging with rats. This is all he had heard, which, led me to believe, I don't know how he heard, man, but, because it had been anybody I told personally, which, I know wouldn't have said. Same with Sharon. He would have known more than just these 2 little things. It's almost like someone, overheard us on the fucking phone or something crazy, some weird shit, and we can't figure it out. But Pat, is coming up to me Jeff, listen, man, if you do this, this is going to be a fucking big mistake and blah, blah, blah. And I told him, Pat, listen, man, that shit you said to me on the phone a couple weeks ago, my squad's here right now, and, saying some shit like that is just, you've crossed the line, man, where, your ego is just out of control. You're stuck in this character and you're losing, a hold on real life when you think you could say that shit to me on a serious level. That's just not how friends roll. And, he's like, well, man, you should have just said, da-da-da, but I know no matter what I said, there's no talking to him sometimes. And I'm like, Pat, this is the thing. I said, I'll tell you right now, we're not going up there and calling you a rat. Pat isn't a rat. That's nothing. I was not going to lie about anything. He just became friends with my runner that dined me out. I would never say Pat's a rat. He's not. And, so nothing was going to be a lie that was said in the 3rd round, just me getting to defend my name. And I'm like, Pat, from a marketing concept, wouldn't this be genius if I got up there and did that shit with Sharon, and then either way, and I think Pat probably still would have won the battle either way. And I said this to Strome before, like, man, he might just fucking murder it. Like, you know, you don't want to just guarantee on a big game-changing moment that is going to 100% change it, because who knows what could happen, right? And like, so I say, Pat, like, wouldn't this be genius for marketing shit to set up a Hollohan Pat Stay 2? Like, it's the most, no doubt, Hollohan Pat Stay 1 is the most, like, talked about. Brings people to King of the Dot. People say, what's the first battle you show someone? Everybody says, Pat Stay Hollohan. I show it to people, too, but I'll be sitting in the room to be able to tell them, yeah, that's not true, that's not true. Well, yeah, that one's true. You know what I mean? And, like, so, and he denied it. He goes, no, it wouldn't. That would not be a good marketing thing. Like, that's just stupid. I was like, Pat, you know everybody in the world. You make a status about, like, going to the store and people comment, Pat Stay Hollohan, too. And he's like, no, like, but he was just so stuck and, like, scared or worried that his ego would, you know, his image might be ruined or something crazy like this, that he was willing to just, like, make up all this craziness about, you know, people there ready to kill Sharon and me and da-da-da. And like, part of my mind is, like, does he really believe that people will get up on stage and shoot people to death live on pay-per-view in a battle rap? Like, is this how delusional he's become? Or is this his little plan to get inside Organik's head and convince him to not let me on stage because of the likelihood of a fight happening? When truthfully, it's like, I know Pat was just talking shit on the phone that day, and that's why I wanted to call him on his bluff. And like I did have my squad there. That's the first time they come to an event, and they don't come nowhere, never. And like, if shit was really going to go off, it would have been, I'm sure, bad for both sides. And it's like, but it wouldn't have. And like, we sign contracts every battle you fucking do that says you can't fight, or anybody in your corner can't fight. If they do, or you do, you don't get paid. You'd be stripped of your title if you're the champ. It's like, for Organik to not even come up and talk to me, and at least, like, I literally had to grab this guy's leg from the crowd. Like, there's a bunch of fans, like, saying, like, why the fuck is Hollohan, like, down here, and, like, grab Organik's leg, like, throw a bottle at him to get his attention, grab his leg, like, jump right up, just rips his fucking leg away. It's like, I was like, you're not letting me on stage? There's not a fucking chance. And just, like, walks off. You won't even talk to me. And, like, he should have talked to me, but, like, because I feel like of the weird, like, shit over the last couple of years of me in Organik, he didn't even in his mind think, wait, I should talk to Hollohan. He's done a lot of really smart things for King of the Dot over the years. Maybe I should get the real story and right quick. Not like just to completely like deny me the chance to even talk to you and like ban me from the main event is like, that's like some weird shit for like, I don't know, the ex-champ of King of the Dot who's fucking Hollohan and blah, blah, like King of the Dot and Hollohan are like a synonymous thing. And so like, I don't...
Have you talked to him since?
Actually, I did talk to Organik. Just Friday night he called me, and we talked for a bit, and he ended up to go for some other shit or whatever, but, you know, I explained to him, I said, you know, Organik, like, nothing in that blog that I said, I was like, because at first he like texted me a couple things, like, oh, wow, I can't believe you, whatever, I hadn't even seen the blog yet, and, like, obviously I was pretty fucking blackout wasted, like, even before it came up at first, I was like, that feeling of, like, that weird blackout grief that you're just like, oh no, like what the fuck did I maybe have said or something? But then I watched it, I was like, well, I didn't say nothing really bad. Like that's truly how I feel. Like I wasn't like, and I say in my little blog, I'm like, you know, Organik isn't some big monster or something. Like, you know, I love Organik and we were always boys from the beginning, but definitely over the last few years, like I have not felt like his boy at all. And there's a ton of other shit I didn't even talk about in the blog too that had led me to be in, I guess, a spiteful kind of place or something. But like, you know, and I told him on the phone, I was like, you know, I don't, like, hate your guts and want you to fucking, like, fuck King of the Dot and blah, blah, blah. But I was like, really, though, everything I said in that blog, like, was truthful. Like, obviously, some things, like, I don't know if Organik's fucking rich or balling out of control or not. You never really know who fucking knows. But all the other shit I just said about how I feel about things he said, like, those were all things he did say that, you know, really got to me or whatever. And,
now, there's another conspiracy theory. Like on OTBVA and some other sites, they're saying that you guys set this up to battle each other.
Beat Organik.
Yeah.
That's funny, actually. I see so tweet that or something. That would be hilarious. Honestly, man, that would have been a great idea, and honestly, like, I feel Organik should think more about shit like that sometimes. And same with Pat. Like, that's why I was telling Pat when he said whatever, and if I was going to go switch with Sharon, and now there's a chance of Hollohan Pat Stay 2 and this big main event moment of me remixing the loyalty line, and it's just, you know, it's monumental shit, and now it's like all of a sudden Stone Cold Vince McMahon fucking Hollohan is beefing with Organik and da-da-da, instead of like, he just gets mad about shit, I guess. And I, like, in his mind, it's like it was very disrespectful for me to go do a blog with all that we've done together in the past, but at the same time, it's like, well, you know, if if I want to speak my mind or something, I should be able to speak my mind, I guess, right? And like, you know, so is there something wrong? There's nothing wrong with that. Like, is there? Like,